All right. Hello, everybody. Looks like we're live. Lori Swanson here, CEO of Inspire Tech, founder of Career Alchemy Academy. If you come on a regular basis, you'll see I have a different QR code on my screen today. And that's because we have an event coming up that would normally be something we do inside Career Alchemy Academy for its members. But because I was so excited about our guest, her name is Lisa Woodruff. She is the CEO and founder of Organize 365. And she'll be talking to us about simplifying through organization. So inside of Career Alchemy Academy, every month we have a touchstone, and this month is simplify. And, really, even on a moment by moment basis, asking ourselves, how could we make things simpler? How could we simplify our calendars, our relationships, our workflows, our minds? Like, how can we declutter our minds and make things simple and make things easy? And so one of the ways, and one of, I think, really kind of spiritually, psychologically profound ways to change everything is by decluttering space. So we're going to talk to Lisa about her process. The reason Lisa even came to us is because one of the career alchemists inside of Career Alchemy Academy, one of the alchemists, I've been following her journey with Lisa's process, and it's just been it's just such an interesting way to look at things, and she's got some great tools. And so I wanted to bring this not just to the academy this month, but to everybody. So that's why there is a QR code where you can sign up. It's free. Join me, join the other alchemists, and join Lisa Woodruff and learn about declutter, not only clearing space in your homes, but also how that changes your energy, simplifies your energy, calms your energy, opens up more opportunities. All kinds of things happen when you clear physical space. But we're also inside the academy continuing this month to look at other ways we can declutter and simplify our lives. So that's just why there's a different QR code on the screen today. But now let me get to this week's topic, which which is, 3 steps to owning your career badassery. So the I was on a call with my coach, and just in the process of the conversation, she said, um, you know, she said, something I know about you is that you don't own your own achievements very well. She said, how is it that I just recently learned, and most folks don't know about the fact that you built this multi-million-dollar recruiting firm, and now you're building this new company that you've been, and this is your third company, not your first, but your third, if you don't count my junior achievement company back in the day. And I'll talk more about junior achievement today, but also that I, overcame a significant addiction, that I did a TEDx talk, that I ran a sprint triathlon along with many other, 5Ks and things. But that sprint triathlon, that was something. Swimming, biking, running, and all the training. I hired a trainer, a coach for that, and everything I did. To get my medal, which I have hanging up in my closet upstairs, or I can see it. And so I do celebrate a little bit, but quietly, right? I was asked to run our past mayor's reelection campaign, and I did that successfully. And that was such an interesting journey of how an election, process, and actually raising the awareness of him, even though it was, in my mind, and I say this, and even as I'm saying this, I recognize that this is a way in which a woman or a person might, and certainly me, might take away from the achievement. So here's what I was going to say is that it was a reelection campaign. So it's easier in some ways than getting someone elected for the very first time. And that might be true, but really, do I have to lead with that? Do I even have to include that? No. Simply I can say I ran a successful reelection campaign um, for our mayor, and it was cool. So, and then, also that my car sunk in a frozen Lake Geneva at one point, along with many other cars. And in the process of that, crowds gathered because, of course, cars are sinking in the lake. They're falling through the ice at this big event. And so there's lots of people in this February winter festival, and they had put up barricades to keep the people away from the lake so that they could eventually were bringing in things to airlift cars out. And this reporter from a local newspaper or television was going through and talking to the crowds about it, and someone pointed at me and said, "You should talk to her. She's the most calm person here." And given that I was watching my car sink, that really is an achievement because I got myself into such a place of, being in the present moment, knowing there was nothing I could do in that moment that I hadn't already done. I'd talk to the police, I'd, ask them what was happening, what I should, what they needed me to do. Like I did everything I could do. So there were people crying about their cars, there were yelling going on, blame was going on. But I just choose to opt out of all of that drama. I stood to the side and eventually was interviewed. And PS, that, and I've talked about this before, that interview went not only local, went national. And my dad and stepmom, who live in New Mexico, called me and said, I'm watching the news and I'm like, that's my daughter. So, that I made the national news, maybe not the way I would have chosen to, but I made the national news because I had achieved a calm center that people noticed and actually suggested me for this interview. Um, so the whole point being that my coach was kind of shocked. She's like, "You did what?" Talking about building the business and talking about, again, a significant addiction, and how that had been impacting me, and how many times I tried to get over the addiction with not a lot of success. But I always say it wasn't the first chop of the axe that brought me to 30 plus years of sobriety and being clean. But it was all the desire to become someone who was clean and sober, and my willingness to, even after a fall, get back up and try again is a huge achievement and does deserve to be acknowledged and shared. And so, my that led to this whole topic today about having, claiming your career badassery. So that was sort of what led up to that. And then, you know, the thing that, so that was just a conversation with my coach, right? But then she said something that was really jaw dropping for me. She said that many career women struggle with acknowledging their gifts, their achievements, their strengths, often due to a trauma response or social conditioning. And so I was like, what? Like, and so of course I had to start going down the research rabbit hole, which I always do. And I found some research that was linking both early childhood trauma and microaggressions at work to a woman's decreased self-worth, tending to overachieve, overperform in order as a coping mechanism in the face of these microaggressions, and have a reluctance to own and share and scream from the mountaintops their success and achievements. Hello confidence gap, hello burnout, hello imposter syndrome, right? So, um, I was kind of like, the, what the, fill in the blank. This stops here. This stops here. So even, and I will say, even listing out a few of those of my successes and achievements caused me a bit of less now than when I actually wrote the blog that that led to me doing this LinkedIn Live. When I was writing that blog, I actually wrote a PS at the end of the first paragraph of where I was listing out my achievements and said how uncomfortable it was for me to list out my achievements. And so, and I've certainly had, uh, you know, no one escapes um, traumatic events in their lives, both micro and macro. And I don't think, especially for women, that there is anyone here who hasn't had a form of microaggression. The thing is that we're often, from a social conditioning standpoint, even unaware that that's what's happening. But I will say this, our bodies know. Something doesn't feel like truth. And that can then create this almost, you know, if not conscious, but subconscious holding back, not tooting our own horns, right? Not bragging. We'd hate to brag, right? And so, as I said, I just wanted to come up with something, a way in which we can start to claim our badassery. And I remembered junior achievement, which I was a part of junior achievement for not a long time, but one like session of it where we built our own little businesses. And I have to say, maybe that's what made me more open to leaving corporate America and becoming my own boss, was because I had sold these little lamps. We did the manufacturing of them. We got people to buy stock in our business, and then we sold them. And so I wouldn't say, even though that experience seems so long ago and not even really of all my experiences was sort of that minor experience, but I might think now that that actually majorly could have given me the confidence I needed to go out on my own, along with some encouragement from my former boss and from my parents, and a little money from my family to tide me over as I, tried to start the company. Not even tried, did, and very quickly paid back that loan. But junior achievement had a lot to do with that. And another thing that I remembered vaguely, and someone had reminded me of, and then again, I went and looked it up, but there is so another achievement, for 5 years, I ran the junior achievement program inside of my kids' grade school. So both for my son and then for my daughter. And so I think it was about a total of 5 years for both their classes. And then there was this thing, an exercise that reminded me of this, and it was called an achievement board. And so that's the 3 steps to owning your career badassery. Start with doing this achievement board. And I'm not kidding about this. Like, this is something that may seem silly. There's all these, do these 3 steps and say these 5 words. But I really think this is something. So, step 1 is, just like a vision board, and whether have ever done a vision board and I have one sitting right over here. If you've done a vision board on a piece of poster board, or you do it in Pinterest, or you create something inside of a tool like Canva, however you do it, you can do a little mini one. Like, I'm going to show you, this is sort of a vision board that I did that's actually, and hopefully you can see it because I'm not seeing the live stream right now. I'm just seeing that I am live. I'm frozen, but it's a vision board of feelings that I want to embody going forward, like the feeling of peacefulness, the feeling of certainty, the feeling of freedom, of prosperity, of boldness. So it's a vision board talks about what you want to embody going forward, or what you want to achieve, things you want to have happen and come to fruition in your life, in the future. But an achievement board is a reflection of what you've already achieved. So you, again, like a vision board, however you would do it, get a poster board and then create, cut out images, put phrases on there. It can be items. I sometimes like have items of things taped to my vision board, like this auger shell that has a story to it for me, a miracle story that's so cool. And but that might be taped to my vision board as a reminder, not that auger shell, but another one, as a reminder that that I believe in miracles, and miracles do happen, right? And that's sort of the future of embodiment or belief. But with an achievement board, it's a reflection on your past of what you've already achieved, a reminder of your career badassery. So you get this board, you get these items, these words, like I go into Word and I use all these different fonts and colors, and then I print them off and I put them on my vision boards. But you're doing it in you're putting up these images, and they are going to, maybe it's you sitting, riding the train to work for the first time, or maybe it's a copy of, mini copy of a performance appraisal or something that was said on your performance appraisal, very like that. It's, you ex you exceeded expectations. So, that's one of the, you are meeting expectations, you exceeded expectations, and you can cut that out and put that on there. Or maybe it's just things like, got my PMP certification, or I've been promoted twice, or I won this award, or, it might be an image of the world or an airplane showing how you've traveled the globe through work and earned, a certain mileage status, if that's something, and that is an achievement. Maybe you've mentored, maybe it just has a number 15 because you've mentored 15 women in their careers, in your career. And so maybe there's something that like a plant, like a image of a growing plant that represents how you thrived after a layoff. So these are all things that you put on your achievement board. And then, maybe in the right corner, you write down a list of the strategies. I guess I'll call them the strategies that you tapped into in order to achieve this. So of course they've already happened. So you know what you did. So you could say, like in an I am statement or an I statement, the strategies were, I was focused, or I am focused. I would say it as a present tense. I am focused. I am creative. Reminding yourself again that what got you here, you still have. You don't lose any of that. Your creativity, your focus, your resilience, your ability to figure things out, your leadership, natural leadership skills, your that you're an applied learner, that you like learning and then you apply it to things. And so this would also be put either in a corner, or you can put these I am statements all throughout your achievement board. And then the third thing to do is to take a picture of it. If it's on a board, put it up somewhere so you can see it and remind yourself of it. And also take a picture of it and make it your, wallpaper on your desktop or your laptop or on your phone. Post it on our Facebook page. I would love to see people's achievement boards. We really want you to show us what you got, you badass. Show us what you got. Toot your own horn, brag about yourself. And like I said, when I wrote that first paragraph, I wasn't comfortable and wrote that little PS in the blog, like this was uncomfortable. But actually, when I was saying it to you, it was less uncomfortable. I think the more we toot our own horns, the more we're able and willing to claim our achievements, the more comfortable we get with that. And then I think that leads to all kinds of other badassery, like, speaking up, pushing back, saying my instincts are telling me that there's some flaws here in this particular path that we're going down. All of that. So that's it. 3 steps. Create the vision board, acknowledge and put the strategies in that you still have. All those skills that you use to achieve those things are still with you and can be used to achieve more things in the future that might be on your vision board. but on your achievement board, they've already been done. So you can't deny it. It's undeniable. And your badass self couldn't be more proud. So that's it for today. As a reminder, we welcome badasses inside of Career Alchemy Academy. So go to the Inspire Tech website. You can hear on LinkedIn or go to, inspiretech.com, INSPIHER tech, TECH.com. And join Career Alchemy Academy. Tell all your badass women friends about it, and also join us and for Simplify through Organization, learning some tips and tricks for decluttering and organizing your physical space, and also talking about how that can shift your energy and help you declutter your minds, simplify your workouts, simplify your calendars, simplify your eating plans. All of this can happen. And the simpler that things are, the more space we create in our lives, the more badass we are. That's all there is to it. So thank you so much for joining me. As always, next week we're here, same time, same place, 1:00 Central Time, here on LinkedIn Live. And then you can always watch the recordings, and the blogs are available on the website and the resources section. Sign up for my blogs. That's all I can think of today. So peace. Talk to you soon.